Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. So before I go back to showing my DVD collection, I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk about a number of different types of films that I've watched recently. So here we go. Bedevilled is a Korean movie from 2010 directed by Cheol Soo Jang, and this is a kind of film that may appeal to people that have liked films such as Old Boy and like Korean movies that have elements of extreme violence in them. Now this one starts off very much as just a drama. We have a woman here who witnesses a criminal act, but when she goes to a police lineup she refuses to identify the criminals. She's then sent on a forced vacation and goes back to an island that she knew from her childhood, and while she's there she sort of reconnects with someone that she knew when she was young. But whilst staying on the island, she becomes witness to scenes of exploitation and abuse that involve her childhood friend. And then as the plot develops more, we get to understand a little bit more about this childhood friendship, and this becomes a drama that's about revenge, and a very, very bloody revenge it is too. This gets very, very violent towards the end, but yeah, it's a really captivating kind of drama. So like I say, it is really drama for the most part, but yeah, we get into this extreme scenes of violence towards the end. But yeah, really interesting film. Baby, the Rain Must Fall is a film from 1964 directed by Robert Mulligan, and it stars Steve McQueen and Lee Remick. And it's quite an unusual one for Steve McQueen's career. I mean, in this film he plays a sort of rebel-rousing rockabilly singer who gets released from jail and reunites with his wife and his daughter that he's never known, but he's unable to calm down during his home life and wants to get back into making music and can't stay out of trouble. This is adapted from a play by Horton Foote, who is best known for doing To Kill a Mockingbird, and this is quite stage-like at times, and so it is a bit stiff in terms of its storytelling. And obviously Steve McQueen as a rockabilly singer is a little bit hard to swallow. He does mime along to a couple of songs, but he's not bad at all, and definitely it's lovely to see the great Lee Remick. I think she's a fantastic actress. She's very good in this. So yeah, this is a really engrossing drama, but it does have a stiff stage-like quality to it at times. So yeah, perhaps not a great movie, but definitely an interesting one in Steve McQueen's career. Across the Bridge is a film from 1957. It's adapted from a novel by Graham Greene, but the story's been expanded upon, and to mixed results, it must be said. It's directed by Ken Anakin, who had worked on films such as Battle of the Bulge, The Longest Day, Those Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machines, and Swiss Family Robinson. And he claims that this is one of his favourite directing experiences. And the main actor in this is Rod Steiger, who also claimed this to be one of his favourite roles. Although I would say that probably his best performance is in Sidney Lumet's The Pawnbroker. But yeah, this is quite an interesting one. Rod Steiger is playing playing a businessman who swindles his company out of funds and then flees towards Mexico. Whilst he's on the train trying to evade police, he makes the decision to murder and take over the identity of a passenger. But that only complicates things because the person he's chosen to murder is also a criminal on the run. So yeah, this gets very convoluted. It's always engrossing to watch, but there are so many sort of improbable coincidences that happen in this that make it really sort of implausible. And Rod Steiger's acting in this was very method style, and we have actor in a co-starring role, Bernard Lee, who was M in a lot of the early James Bond films. He had quite some issues with the way that Rod Steiger worked on this, so a real conflict of acting styles. But yeah, it's a really, really interesting one nonetheless. Like I say, very implausible at times, but fascinating to watch. The Gumball Rally from 1976 is a sort of car action movie that involves a cross-country race from New York to Florida. This movie came out in 1976, so before the Cannonball Run movies, which were with Burt Reynolds and a much starrier cast. This one stars Michael Sarrazin, and you've also got the likes of Gary Busey and Raul Julia. This one wasn't as popular. Like I say, the Cannonball Run movies and Hooper, for example, they have much more stunts, many more stars in them. But yeah, I still get a great deal of fun from watching the Gumball Rally, particularly at the beginning, because when the race begins, it is in New York, and they managed to film cars going along deserted streets in New York, which is really quite amazing to see. So yeah, really this is a lot of car action on the road. Might not have enough stunts for people to really love it, but I still have a great deal of fondness for this one. Now, a lot of people will probably be familiar with this film, Breathless. This was a French new wave classic by director Jean-Luc Godard, and it famously starred Jean-Paul Belmondo and Jean Seberg. But not so many people know this film from 1964, which reunited the two stars, and this is Backfire, directed by Jean Becker. And this is a really fun, silly caper, so it's not a new wave classic by any means, and so the art house crowd didn't embrace it nearly as much, but it's a lot of fun. It's filmed in various countries, Italy, Switzerland, France, Greece, Lebanon, and it involves Gert Frobe. It is in 1964, so the same year that he played Goldfinger. Here he also plays a gold smuggler, and he employs Jean-Paul Belmondo to smuggle gold in a sports car, and he has Jean Seberg go along for the ride to keep an eye on him. So yeah, this is just a globe-trotting caper. The plot is quite, I guess, silly, I suppose, but it's a great amount of fun, and the two stars in this are really fantastic. Jean Seberg is just gorgeous in this, absolutely stunning. So yeah, really enjoyed this one, and yeah, definitely hope more people will see it. Now, director Ty West is definitely on a roll at the moment, having directed for Studio A24 X, then Pearl, and he's got Maxine coming out shortly. I just recently rewatched X and then followed up with Pearl, and I think at the moment I enjoy Pearl the more out of the two, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Maxine. But I went back to watch this film from 2011, directed by Ty West, The Innkeepers. And this one stars Sarah Paxton, Pat Healy and Kelly McGillis, and it's quite an interesting one, very low key, so it's not as exuberant, I suppose, as the current movies that are being done by Ty West, but yeah, it involves a couple of sort of amateur ghost hunters who are running an inn as it's about to close its doors for the final time, and they want to investigate if the place is actually haunted or not. For the most part, this is very sort of slow moving, nerdy drama, if you like. Sarah Paxton is particularly good in a very sort of nerdy type role here, and you sort of think this could just be family entertainment, but it does take a turn at the end. So yeah, I enjoyed this one quite a lot. I thought it was well paced, well done, and definitely had some impactful moments, but yeah, it's not going to suit everyone. Some people just might find it too slow and uneventful. The Greatest Hits is a new release movie that's now on Disney and Hulu, directed by Ned Benson, and it stars Lucy Boynton and Justin Min. So I was particularly keen to see this. I do like Lucy Boynton as an actress, and I'm particularly interested as later this year she's going to be portraying Ruth Ellis, the last woman to be hanged in Britain. That film was previously told in this one, Dance with a Stranger with Miranda Richardson, which I've talked about on my channel before. So yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, The Greatest Hits, this also has an interesting premise. Boynton's character in this is grieving from the loss of her boyfriend, and is finding that when she hears certain music, it is a trigger for her, and it actually transports her back in time to certain events. So that idea is an interesting one. I think we all have these kind of associations between music and memory, so that's definitely an interesting factor to the film, but I don't think the film really does enough, unfortunately, with that idea. It's a very amiable film. I liked it. It was pleasant enough, but the choice of music that it uses and how it uses those songs wasn't really impactful enough for me. Now, anyone who is old enough to remember the Maxell Break the Sound Barrier ads, which involved a guy sitting in a chair with big speakers in front of him and then being blown away by the sound, yeah, there's reference or an homage, if you like, to that in this film. So yeah, Greatest Hits, I did enjoy it, but I didn't think that it did quite enough with the actual idea, unfortunately. But yeah, worth watching. Alcarràs, I'm not sure if I've said that correctly, is a film from 2022. It's a Spanish film directed by Carla Simón. Now, friend of the channel, Chris Mohan, who seems to be absent at the moment, I hope he's okay. He actually pointed me towards this one a while back in one of his videos, but I actually got distracted and went to Carla Simón's first film, Summer 1993. Really, really enjoyed that film. But yeah, Alcarràs is a film that concerns a peach farming family in Spain whose land is about to get taken over by a company that wants to install solar panels. But the great thing that Carla Simón does with her film is just this naturalistic kind of filming of this family working in their farm, the family dynamic, this sense of change that's going to happen. Very, very naturalistic. It's really, really well played out. So yeah, I enjoyed Alcarràs. Perhaps not as much as Summer 1993, which I really think is an excellent film. But yeah, Carla Simón's films are really, really worthwhile. Kotoko is a film from 2011 and it's directed by Shinya Tsukamoto. This director is perhaps best known for doing Tetsuo, the Iron Man, also did Bullet Ballet, and a film I have in my collection, A Snake in June. Now, thanks to SJS Arts on his channel, he had really sort of brought this film to my attention. He's talked about it a few times. Now, absolutely, this is a disturbing film to watch, quite a distressing one. Certainly, it contains scenes of self-harm, which could be quite triggering or disturbing for people. But yeah, it's a film that concerns a young single mother who is dealing with her young child and really going through a mental breakdown as she's doing so, and her distress is only heightened when she is accused of child abuse and her child is taken away from her. So yeah, this is a really distressing film, and the film really conveys this sense of huge distress, and particularly what it does well, I suppose, is that sense of when someone's in this heightened state of distress, something that may be safe in front of them appears as a threat. So the way that the cinematography is done in this, the way that the acting is done by musical artist Koko, she's the main actress in this, it's really quite impressive in terms of conveying this sense of fantasy world, if you like, not really being able to differentiate between what's real and what's imagined as a threat, all that kind of thing. So yeah, hugely upsetting film, very well made, and film is there to make us feel all different types of things, so it's impressive in that respect, but like I say, not an easy watch at all. Priscilla from 2023, directed by Sofia Coppola, certainly takes a different route than Baz Luhrmann did when he made Elvis. And this is a much lower budget film, shot in a shorter time period, and there's no rights to use any of Elvis's songs in this. So really we've got this really intimate drama about Priscilla Presley meeting Elvis at a very young age and starting their relationship together, and it becoming a very sort of controlling relationship during their time together. So a lot of pressure that's involved in that relationship. Now, this is an admirable film, I think, and really good performance from Kaylee Spenny, who's currently in Civil War. But it's also a bit... what's the word? I suppose upsetting, for someone like myself who certainly has enjoyed Elvis over the years and very much enjoys all those goofy Elvis movies that he made as well. And particularly one of my favourites there is Viva Las Vegas, and that's a particular sticking point actually in this film, because the film shows how at that time there was all this scandal about Elvis being possibly in a relationship with co-star Anne Margaret, and how that was affecting Priscilla. So yeah, there's a lot of psychological drama to this story of Priscilla. It is well played. Again, some of it, we don't know what is the real truth here, and obviously with Elvis as well, we've got all this aspect of him being controlled as well by Colonel Parker. None of that side of things is really shown in this film. So we really got the strain that's on him wanting to have Priscilla just being at home and there for him, and her having to really kind of accept that. So yeah, very controlling kind of relationship, a difficult kind of dynamic. There was certainly love there, but yeah, kind of emotional torture as well. But yeah, interesting film. Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour. Yep, this is what you wanted, wasn't it? A guy in his 50s talking about Taylor Swift. Who cares about that, eh? But yeah, I watched Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour. This is a 3.5-hour concert, and I watched it on Disney, and I watched it with subtitles as well, because I don't know, lots of people are great at knowing lyrics. I'm not one of them. I don't really take all the lyrics in. I don't really remember them. If you want me to sing along to a Taylor Swift song, all I could probably sing is Shake It Off. And that's about the only lyric I would remember. But yeah, now Taylor Swift, to be honest, is not someone that I have really listened to a hell of a lot over the years. I did listen to her Folklore album quite a bit when that came out, but otherwise I didn't think that I was really paying too much attention. But it's amazing that in a 3.5-hour concert I realised that I actually knew pretty much all of the songs there. So yeah, I'm obviously listening to them on the radio over the years, in cafes, when I'm out and about. Yeah, these songs are always coming up. I really enjoyed this concert. Now, I'm someone who has been to a lot of concerts over the years. I stopped really around the time of the pandemic, and I haven't been back to concerts since. I don't think I'm actually going to be doing it anymore. They're very cost prohibitive now. I was very fortunate before the pandemic in that I could go to Vancouver and often get the cheap seats, if you like, at a lot of big name concerts. So I have seen people like Beyonce and Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake and Katy Perry. And whilst all of those have been quite good fun, what I would say is that Taylor Swift definitely demonstrates that she alone, without necessarily all the stage paraphernalia around her, she can command a stage. I think that's what's most impressive about her. She is just captivating. So yeah, I really just enjoyed watching this concert. It is a great production, and all the sound of it is really well produced. But yeah, I enjoyed all the songs, and I had a really terrific time watching this. And like I say, with the subtitles as well, being able to then just sort of go along with the lyrics that way, yeah, this makes home entertainment a really good fun way of enjoying a concert. So obviously, yeah, all the Swifties are going to be actually getting their parents to buy them expensive tickets to go to the tours. But yeah, if you can't afford to do that, then yeah, the Taylor Swift Eras Tour is just a fantastic experience. I just reviewed Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour. Okay, so that's just a quick run through of some of the films I've watched fairly recently, trying to give a bit of a mixture here. Now, for anyone that's been following along with my DVD collection, yeah, I'll be coming back to show more of those shortly. And yeah, I do apologise. I know a couple of people have commented that they want me to be saying more about the films as I show them. I get that, but yeah, I'm trying to show over 4,000 films here, so it's trying to get that balance really of just showing you the titles, hoping you're going to have some curiosity about those, hoping you might make a comment about any ones that you do want to hear more about, and then I'll come back to that later. But yeah, if I was to try and talk about every film as I show them, it's just going to be exhaustively long, and as it is, I think people already might not have the attention span to watch a long video. So yeah, please stick with me if you can. Please do come back for more videos. Like I say, the DVD collection videos will be continuing shortly. Okay, all the best to you. Thanks for joining me on this one. Bye-bye.